what I'm trying to point out to you is there are alternative investments beyond stocks and bonds that you need to be looking at. Is commercial real estate part of my portfolio? Yes. Is private equity part of my portfolio? Yes. Is Smile Doctors private equity part of my portfolio? Yes. Is 401k? Yes. Are stocks and bonds, mutual funds? Yes. Are there startups that I've invested in? Yeah. Like, that's the way I look at it. That's the way my financial advisor looks at it. And that's the way you should be looking at it. Hello there, Orthopreneurs. I'm Dr. Glenn Krieger, your host, with another 5-Minute Friday. Now, I've talked a little bit about this in the past, and I want to do it again with you. We're going to talk about your future, your retirement. I don't care if you're a resident or you're somebody down the road. I've probably read, 50 or 100 books on this, and I've spoken to a lot of professionals. And I want to bring up some ideas for you that really, I think, are misunderstood. And your retirement's going to rely on this. Now, there's two ways you can get to retirement, right? Well, there's technically three. One is a crappy, terribly planned, bad outcome, right? You don't have enough money for retirement. And we all know people who've been there, and hopefully that will never be you. The two ways you can get to retirement are slow and steady and take your time, and 6% a year. And the other way you get there is 10, 15, 20, 30% per year returns. Now, if you haven't noticed in the ortho community and in the world in general, there's two kinds of people. They're the kind of people who are going to tell you, here's how I did it, here's my proof, here's my experience, and you can do it too. But then you butt up against the second type of people who say, that's impossible, that's a Ponzi scheme, that's an insert reason here kind of thing. And when I asked an Orthopreneurs about 6 months ago, what kind of return are you looking for in your portfolio? The answers that we were getting astounded me. They actually not only just shocked me, they were disheartening. People saying, well, I said, if your financial planner said, here's what we got you last year in a return, that if that number would make you happy, what would it be? And people were writing 4%, 6%, 8%. If I got 8% a year over a 5-year period from my financial planner, I would fire them, especially with inflation doing what it's doing. So again, you can play that game all day long. Well, we're going to project your numbers at 8% per year for the next 20 years. If you want to be super conservative, or if that's your life plan, go for it. That is not my plan, okay? Once you start talking about things like private equity, which we know, I've already said this many, many times, and these are facts, top 25% private equity, not top 1%, not top 10%, but top 25% private equity will return on average per year between 23 and 42%. Those are the numbers that I've seen printed, okay? Private equity is another animal. Alternative investments are things you need to know about. If you are going to go into your financial planner who works at whatever company and say, we're going to put you into some stocks and some mutual funds, yes, conservative can win long term. If your plan is to play for 35 or 40 years and you get 8% per year, as you know, the rule of 72, at 8% per year, you're going to turn your money double every 9 years. So if you want to go 40 years or say 36 years, your $1 million will become, $2 million in 9 years. It will become 4 million in 18 years. It will become 8 million in 27 years, and it'll become 16 million in 36 years. And you can get there, and it's not sexy, but you can do that. But I got to be honest with you, most people aren't waiting 40 years for the money. Now, if you want to, that's great. But instead of having 16 million, wouldn't you rather have 30 million, 40 million, 60 million? Now, you can make the argument, how much money is enough? But along the way towards 40 million, you're going to get to 16 million way sooner. And you can take your foot off the gas. Now, I'm no financial planner. I want to be crystal clear about that. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an investment analyst. I'm just giving you simple math. If you go into private equity, historically, you're going to see a 2 to 3x return every 3 to 5 years. Let's call it 5 years and 2.5x, right? 2.5x every 5 years. Now, if you do the math on that one, right? Again, if you try to figure out what your percentage is per year, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 14% return per year is doubling your money every 5 years. If you want to double your money every 4 years, the math is real simple. It's 18% per year. And if you speak to enough wealthy individuals, getting 18% per year is a piece of cake, but you got to know where to look. And you're not going to get that at the corner store, so to speak. I'll give you an example. I know somebody very, very wealthy who has their own jet plane. Now, I don't even get to say the word jet plane because I'm so far away from that possibility. But they have their own jet. They presented an opportunity where if I were to buy a jet, brand new, with all scheduled maintenance, gas, pilots, and everything included, I would make on chartering it on average $3 million a year. So again, if I bought a jet, I would make $3 million a year on charters on average. Now, that is pretty amazing, right? That's the old adage, you need money to make money. So if I could go do that today, I would, but I don't have that kind of money because I think it requires, about $8 million a year, but you're going to get $3 million in profit. Not, you're going to get your $8 million back plus $3 million on top of it. But what I'm trying to point out to you is there are alternative investments beyond stocks and bonds that you need to be looking at as my suggestion. I'm involved in commercial real estate, right? A friend of mine who I've introduced, he's spoken, he's been on stage at Summit. His name is Pete Stickney. He's been on the podcast. Go look up his podcast. He's a commercial real estate developer. Getting 40% return on a 2-year project is not unusual, right? And if you can find projects like that and you can be a co-tenant in it, if you can be a co-owner on it, you can do a 1031 exchange, pay no taxes on that money, and roll it over into the next project. So you could, over a 10-year period, see yourself getting 15, 20% per year, year over year over year over year. So what I'm getting at in all of this is look for alternative investments. And the final point I want to make on this one, which gets poo-pooed, if you will, only by people who don't have access to it or don't want to be a part of it, is the equity in private equity-backed OSOs. So for instance, I will be the first to tell you, in Smile Doctors, I have a fair amount of equity. And when given the opportunity to buy more, I did. Why? Because it's run by some really good companies, Linden and T.H. Lee. These are solid multi-billion-dollar private equity funds. And to quote a friend of mine who's in this space, private equity guys just figure out a way to make profit. They just do. So again, joining Smile Doctors and being part of an OSO, yes, I got a boatload of cash up front. Yes, I have equity in the startup I built with them as a partner and other stuff we've done with them and the opportunities that Smile Doctors provides. If you want to learn more about it, reach out to me. I will tell you stuff that will blow your mind, things you had no idea exist in private equity-backed OSOs, specifically Smile Doctors. Okay, I will tell you things that have been so good for me and my partner, Doug Shaw. So reach out to me, DM me, or email me at glenn@kriegermail.com, and I will gladly schedule a time to go through this with you and go through it, because there's more than you can imagine. But the big kicker, the piece that nobody talks about, and I just got off the phone with my financial planner, and they love the part of it, is that this equity in a private equity-backed OSO will grow. Okay, now, you join the wrong one, you got trouble on your hands. And the road is littered with the carcasses of bad ideas along the way. But Smile Doctors was valued at $2.4 billion at its last turn in 2022. All right. And you know the private equity life is about 5 years. You do the math about when the next turn is going to happen. So all in all, what I'm getting at is another route towards retirement, which is misunderstood and undervalued by most who are not part of it, is the equity you get in the parent company when you associate with an OSO. Now, for some, I told you it's garbage. I'm feeling, and it's not my feeling alone, it's a lot of experts are very bullish on the Smile Doctors equity. So if you're thinking of joining a company, reach out to me and we will talk, because I'm always looking for good partners. But remember, like 60 or 70% of the people who come to Smile Doctors are turned away. They're not a good partner. They just don't take anybody and everybody. But if you think you're ready and you want to do it, reach out to me and I'll talk to you about it. But my point in all of this is commercial real estate part of my portfolio? Yes. Is private equity part of my portfolio? Yes. Is Smile Doctors private equity part of my portfolio? Yes. Is 401k? Yes. Are stocks and bonds, mutual funds? Yes. Are there startups that I've invested in? Yeah. Like, that's the way I look at it. That's the way my financial advisor looks at it. And that's the way you should be looking at it. So if you're with somebody who says, hey, we're going to invest you in stocks and bonds, or if you're foolish enough to be doing it yourself, because the statistics would say you are not smarter than the people out there who are now using AI to drive it. If you're going for your 6 or 8 or 10%, good for you. Keep swinging for the fences. You never know what can happen. But I'm sorry. If I can make more money today in other investments that are proven to be much better, I'll do it all day long. And I don't want my money just sitting in the market at the whim and mercy of multi-billionaires who manipulate the market when they want to. And I'm paying huge commissions to some broker and their firm. When I do my commercial real estate, you know who I pay commissions to? Nobody. The money is invested, and then the money is returned with interest. Well, with income. So is it different for everybody? Yes. There are commercial real estate deals that go south, and it can happen to me. But the odds are more in your favor, historically speaking. So sorry for being all over the place with this. My whole point of it is start thinking about your retirement in terms more than just mutual funds and stocks and bonds. Let professionals manage it the way you professionally manage people's mouths and teeth. And again, if you want to learn more about Smile Doctors in particular and why I think right now, they won't tell you this, they can't tell you this, but if you want to know why right now, this minute, is a remarkable time to get a piece of their equity, I will be glad to talk to you about it, because there's stuff I can tell you that they can't because of liability issues. So anyway, much love to each and every one of you. Reach out to me if you need me, and hope to see you at Summit. opsummit2025.com. There will be one track in the afternoon on personal wealth accumulation. And I promise you, that alone will be worth 50 times the price of admission. So go to opsummit2025.com, sign up now. Much love to each and every one of you. Can't wait to chat with you.